Hey guys, Socket here. Today we're going to continue on with our Audio Tech Fisher DSP PC tool tutorials. This is number 2 in the series. Last episode we looked at downloading and setting up the software, and in this episode we're going to do a quick tour of the software and its functions. And in future episodes we'll deep dive into each of the aspects of the software and teach you actually how to use them. But today is just a really quick tour. So to get started, the header at the top of the screen is the thing that stays consistent no matter where you are in the software. So that sounds like a good place to start. So starting from right to left, the first button here is a reset button. So this allows you to reset certain aspects of the software. So can be handy when, for example, you're loading up a preset and you want to do some work on that, but you want to set all the timing back to 0 so there's no delays on any of your speakers. Well, instead of going into the timing menu and setting them all manually, you can come into the reset, click on reset time alignment, click OK, and then all the aspects of your tune or preset will be retained, except the timing will be set back to 0. So very handy feature. It's a bit of an advanced feature, but that's what the reset button is for. The next two buttons are save and load. They should be pretty self-explanatory, but essentially it allows you to save your work as a preset and then load it up at a later date. The Helix DSPs have room for 10 presets or 10 memory slots. So this 1 indicates memory slot 1 and the file that is in memory slot 1. Now, because we're in demo, there are no files per se. But if I click on these gear icons, it will bring up a list of all your presets or tunes that you've created, and you are able to manage those files in this section. So you can delete them, you can rename them, you can copy them, you can create a new preset. So that's what this little window is for. And you also have the ability to add notes to each of the files. So for example, that's handy if, for example, you have a tune where you have your rear fills turned off, and you just make a note there that tune without rear fills or whatever note's going to work for you. Okay, in the center of the header, if you click on the Helix icon, it'll bring up some information about the software versions, and if you are connected to your DSP, it will give you information about your firmware versions and your ACO versions, etc. So if you are looking for this information, that's where you find that. Moving on to the right hand side of the header, you have your functional tabs. There are 7 of those, and I like to think of these being in 2 groups. So there are one group of tabs which are configuration tabs, where you set up your DSP and the software, and you kind of do it once, and unless you're having a problem or you're making major changes to your system, you won't go into those again. And then the other types of tabs are tabs that you will use when you're doing car audio tuning, and you would be in and out of those tabs all the time. So I'm going to sort of talk about them each in turn, starting with the configuration tabs. So the first of the configuration tabs is your input-output device configuration. This is basically where you tell the software how your system is wired up, how your inputs are going into the DSP, and which outputs or speakers you have wired to the DSP and what channels they are on. So once again, super important to get right, but you'll probably do that once and you won't touch it again unless you're adding a new set of speakers or making big structural changes to your system. So that's the first configuration tab. The next one I'll talk about is the device configuration menu, or the DCM menu. It has a series of tabs under this menu which will be different depending on what DSP you are running. So for example, I'm running the Helix Ultra, and on my version of the software I have 6 tabs. However, you might be running a different DSP, you may be running standard channel processing mode, and so therefore you won't have the virtual channel processing tab. So if yours looks different to mine, don't be concerned. Many of the features are the same. I'm just pointing out that different DSPs have different options under this configuration menu. Okay, so starting with the first tab, the Extended Features tab, this is where you're able to configure your remote controls if you had them, add a Bluetooth extension card, things like that. Signal management is where you're able to enable and prioritize your different inputs, such as your digital or your aux inputs. The ACO features tab is where you can configure things like your turn on and turn off times. For example, if you're having a problem with a pop sound when you start up your system, you can play with the timings here to try to address that particular issue. So those types of things are here under the ACO features tab. Virtual channel processing, if you watched the last video for this series, you will have seen this screen before. It's where you select between standard and virtual channel processing. You do it once when you set up the software, and probably will not come back to this screen ever again. The next tab is the device monitoring. It's essentially a screen showing the temperature of your DSP. To be honest, I've never used this tab at all. And then the final tab is the PC tool configuration. So this is where you can configure various aspects of the PC tool software. So for example, if you want your EQ bands on the output tab to be automatically sorted in numerical order, you can set that to enabled, for example. But this is where you do that type of configuration. So once again, you'll generally go into this DCM menu, set it up for your system, and unless you're having problems, you probably won't come back into this again. The next configuration tab is the sound effects or the FX menu. This is where you have those advanced sound processing features where you can turn those things on and off. There is one for bass and there's one for center processing. This will only work if you have the virtual channel processing turned on. If not, you won't have access to this menu. And that pretty much rounds out the configuration menus. Okay, so now we're going to have a look at those menus that you'll use a lot if you're doing car audio tuning, starting with the RTA window. So this is Helix's inbuilt real-time analyzer for their auto-tune feature. So essentially you'll be using a mic to measure your speakers, and it will give you a profile or an RTA based on how the speakers are responding at different frequencies. Once again, I won't go into any detail, just to point out that this is the tool that's within the Audio-Tech Fisher PC tool software. There are other external tools that you could use, such as REW or Smart, but this is the one that Helix provides for use if you're using the auto-tune feature. So while we're on the topic of auto-tune features, there is a series of guides contained within this little question mark icon at the far right of the header. So if you're thinking about using the Helix software to do auto-tuning of your car, there's a series of small guides to I guess walk you through the process. Also in this little help icon is a cheat sheet for your shortcuts for when you're using the software. So if you're doing car audio tuning, once again you're going to spend time in probably one of two screens. The first one will be your output screen, and this is where you have all of your speakers, where you will set your crossovers and slopes, your levels and gains, and do all of your EQ work. So you'll spend a lot of time in here, and you can select each of your speakers, you can link them together and do a bunch of stuff. And as I said earlier, we'll deep dive into this screen and how to use it in a future video, but rest assured this is probably the screen that you're going to spend most of the time in. The other screen that you'll spend a lot of time in if you're doing your own tuning is the time alignment menu. This allows you to set either by distance or by time in milliseconds the delays that you add onto your speakers, so you can achieve imaging and a center image with your car audio tune. So that's the time alignment. And then finally, if you're using virtual channel processing, there is a tab for your virtual channels. Once again, you can select those. It will tell you what your inputs and outputs and how they're routed through a particular channel, whether you have any additional signal processing activated or not. You can change the gains and the delays and the EQ settings for all of your virtual channels, just as if they were output channels in the output screen that we looked at. But once again, you'll do some work in here, you'll probably set it up but very rarely come back to it. So that is a very quick rundown of the PC Tool software. If you've got any questions, please put them in the comments and we'll try to answer as many of those as we can. Otherwise, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.